Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed, right? All right. Speaking of concussion, left hook to the body, but that ain't concussion, right? So I ain't gonna really do that. But Canelo Alvarez, body puncher. I like him when he goes to the body a lot. Canelo, but unfortunately, even though I like Canelo, his boxing style, he goes to the body, but I'm always pretty much on him because of the boxing politics and the fact that he's able to do what he's doing. And the reason he's able to do what he's doing is sinister. So therefore, I can't really talk so much about what the things I like about Canelo. Well, if you would hear me talk about Canelo and Gennady Golovkin in the first fight, boy, I sound like a Canelo fanboy. How well he looked in that loss, right? But unfortunately, today is not going to be one of those happy Canelo days. Bottom line, Canelo, one of his partners, one of his friends that used to train with him, one of his, say a protege, trying to come up be another Canelo, Ryan Garcia, right? Ryan Garcia, lightweight challenger, right? That we only talk about because he's a good fighter though, right? Good, exciting fighter up until now, but he misses too many fights, and we think he's being overrated. And what I say about overrated, because we don't know, but we talk about him like he's one of the, we gave him one of the four kings without him fighting nobody that should have gave him the right to be four king, right? And we talk about him like he's really doing something, and he hasn't yet. But it's not like he's done nothing at all. To be 22-0 with 18 KOs is damn good record, right? But he's got to fight some of these top guys. We can't mention him in the same sentence as Devin Haney. I don't like that because he was Devin Haney's mandatory and did not fight him because he's just scared. He just going to fight everybody else. So therefore, push the brakes. He's the second, echelon in the lightweight division. But he's came out and said something that's definitely pertinent, y'all. You gotta listen to him. He's saying Canelo's loss to Dimitri Bivol wasn't because of his size. Had nothing to do with it. Bivol's just better. And unfortunately, I agree with him. Bivol's not that big. Just make sure this is clear. Bivol is a small light heavyweight. Bivol also offered Canelo to go down to 168 pounds to fight him there. So people can't say that Canelo is lost because of the weight, right? So that's why he offered. So Canelo just lost because Bivol is better, right? And it is what it is. Now, we know this though, right? He's a small light heavyweight. It's not because of that. But if we're going to talk about someone who comes up from light heavyweight and beats a normal sized light heavyweight, came from super middleweight to light heavyweight, let's talk Andre Ward, right? Andre Ward, I would say has less puncher power than Canelo Alvarez, probably. Let you tell it, right? They forced him to not fight Gennady Golovkin at 160 pounds because Golovkin was saying he could beat anybody from 154 to 168. Andre Ward said, hey, well, I'm at 168. Come get me. HBO said, leave him alone. And a lot of fans of Golovkin, no, Andre Ward, leave him alone. You go up and fight the Crusher at the time, Sergey Kovalev. And Sergey Kovalev was knocking everybody out, and people were scared of him at light heavyweight. He was the Artur Beterbiev before Artur Beterbiev. They were scared of the Crusher, and they sent him up without punching power, Andre Ward, to fight the bigger Kovalev. Andre Ward handled his business because that's what a number one pound for pound does, right? He's able to do something like that. Canelo didn't even get close. Now, Canelo did beat Kovalev when he went up to fight him, but why did Canelo fight Kovalev? Every time people talk about Canelo beat a light heavyweight in Kovalev, no one ever, and I mean absolutely no one ever says the reason he fought Kovalev was because he was not going to fight Demetrius Andrade for undisputed at 160 pounds. Demetrius Andrade for $40 million, and you were going to be undisputed. So instead of doing that in September, Canelo's date, he forced Kovalev to fight on short notice because Kovalev fought at the beginning of September, the end of August, right? So Canelo said, well, we'll wait till November. Give him 8 weeks, that's it. And that wasn't enough time. That's why Kovalev didn't look like a shell of himself. So basically, what Ryan Garcia is saying seems to be correct. And let's put something on top of it. Now I don't look at MMA, right? UFC, MMA, ice hockey. I'm just mentioning sports I don't really look at. Like, I don't look at those. Because there's got to be a few sports that you don't look at if you want to have a lady. At some point, I watch a lot of sports. There's people probably watching this video like, man, I'm so sick of him talking about boxing. I like when he talks about tennis. I like when he talks about Formula One or NBA or something, right? Well, they're not as racist as they are here. That's why I got stuck here. But I'm going to get back to that sooner or later, you guys, because there's some interesting stuff going on in other worlds of sports. But one of the guys in MMA, who I don't know, and I knew you're going to know that, damn, he don't know nothing, because this guy is supposed to be the guy, like the pound-for-pound guy in MMA. His name is Usman, right? Usman's manager or trainer, one of them, came out and said, we were trying to get a crossover fight with Canelo, but Canelo is just an ordinary guy now. He's a regular, he said regular. He's just a regular guy. And you know something, you know how much that's true? He's a regular guy, because when you look at it, in light heavyweight, Canelo was trying not to fight Beterbiev and Gilberto Ramirez. That's why he took Bivol. He was the easiest one. And at 168, he's not fighting David Morrell. He's not fighting David Benavidez. And if Demetrius Andrade moves up, which he was supposed to, right, he's not going to fight him. In middleweight, he's not going to fight Charlo. So that's why he was running from those to take an easier fight. Yes, it's a cherry pick gone wrong. Exactly. That's exactly what that was, right? And he's gotten beat bad. That's why he had to fight Gennady Golovkin, right? So he's happy to fight Gennady Golovkin. And nobody's even saying to Canelo, well, go fight Gennady Golovkin for your trilogy at 160. That's what Golovkin is. They're just letting Golovkin come up to 168, bypass all the people that are already at 168, established, and will whoop Golovkin's butt. No, Golovkin. Because again, he feels Golovkin's the easiest touch. And so do you. You don't want him to ever fight Demetrius Andrade, do you? Right? That's the worst one. After that, then Benavidez. And a lot of people talking about Benavidez more, and I don't really like that. Benavidez, I know Canelo don't want to fight him either, but he only been not wanting to fight Benavidez for a year and a half or two. Demetrius Andrade, and I repeat, has been a champion for 2013, calling Canelo out. 2013. Next year, that's 10 years. And we've allowed that to happen. That's the worst thing, the most egregious thing in all of boxing to me. That's why I'll figure out a reason to say Demetrius Andrade in the video. I don't care what everybody else is doing. It's crazy. Now, speaking of crazy, y'all know the app DAZN, right? DAZN is nuts. DAZN would rather waste money than just call people out, right? You remember how much money they wasted on Canelo in that $385 million deal for 10 fights? And Canelo got mad because they said, hey, but you can't fight everybody easy. And he wanted out of that deal. And they still want Canelo back. Instead of saying, didn't we sign Demetrius Andrade here? You got to fight him. We signed him. They gave Gennady Golovkin all that money and a part of the company. And Gennady Golovkin said the same thing as Canelo. We can talk about whatever you want to, but don't you dare talk about Demetrius Andrade. And I bet you if we can find the contracts, I guarantee you in Gennady Golovkin's contract and Canelo's contract, do not mention Demetrius Andrade on air. That's what's happened. Don't mention him on the air, because if you do, some people will Google him or YouTube him and see what it is, and they say, yeah, he's scared of that guy. That's all you got to do is look at Demetrius Andrade a couple of times, not even more than 3 minutes, and you'll know what time it is. That guy exists. That's what's up. So DAZN wastes a whole lot of money on Canelo, wastes some money on Gennady Golovkin, and now they want Anthony Joshua back. Right? That's gonna be a waste of money. Joshua, I don't even think they care if he wins or loses against Usyk. They're just over there throwing away money. Good for them. They must have it, but they're nuts, right? Now, the USA and these pound for pound guys, you know what I mean? The mishaps the USA got pound for pound. Canelo Alvarez, right? He just got beat handily by Bivol, right? Not a knockout where Canelo could have said something. No, I beat you handily. Like damn near pretty much 9-3 rounds. Floyd Mayweather beat him 12-0 rounds, right? And both times these judges got away with giving Canelo too many damn rounds, right? In that fight against Bivol, if Canelo wins the last round, do you know that fight would have been a draw? All Canelo had to do is win the last round. It would have been a draw. It's absolutely absurd. And these judges are getting away with nobody saying anything. Look, if Canelo and Bivol is 1, and Haney and Kambosos. That fight was way too close on the scorecards, 116, 112, when somebody wins 12 rounds to none, or 11 rounds and 1 draw round. You know, but the judges don't have to pay for this, right? Now, here's something that I saw, I think yesterday, and it's really just absurd. From CBS, right? CBS TV. I seen a pound for pound list, and they still have Canelo Alvarez at #1 on that list. Now, I don't give a damn how much you like Canelo Alvarez. I mean, you could be his brother, right? And you know damn well that Canelo is not the best fighter fighting, right? There would not be a Demetrius Andrade if Canelo was the best fighter in the world. There would not be a Jamal Charlo if Canelo was the best fighter in the world. Now, there would not be a Gilberto Ramirez if Canelo was the best fighter in the world. Now, I'm not going to say Benavidez, and I'm not going to say David Morrell, because those are 2 years of Canelo not wanting to fight them or less. These other guys, Gilberto Ramirez has been around Canelo's weight for a long enough time. And that's why Canelo is saying no Mexicans. He means I ain't fighting Gilberto Ramiro and damn Benavidez. And when it comes to Charlo, both Charlos, and Demetrius Andrade, we're talking 8 to 10 years of not fighting. That's impossible to have him to be the very, and it's his fault that they didn't fight. You know what I mean? It's not like the negotiations fell through. No, Canelo has been actively running from him and has been aided and abetted by the WBC, and everyone in boxing knows it. And to call him the very best fighter right now, if you see somebody do that, don't watch their programming anymore, because they're absolutely devious, sinister. Canelo is not in the top 10 pound for pound, right? He's been doped twice. Some would say once, which would enable you, because if you dope twice, you don't even get him my pound for pound. That's it, because dope twice means you really dope. But if we're going to say Canelo doped once, he's still not a top 10, because Jamel Charlo and Devin Haney, they're undisputed, both of them. They're not in CBS's top 10 pound for pound, right? If you're undisputed, you're supposed to get in immediately. Just like Josh Taylor did, just like Alexander Usyk did. Undisputed means you're in. Even the fake undisputed guys got in. Teofimo Lopez, fake undisputed with a franchise title. He got in there, and they called him undisputed. Kambosos with a fake title. He got in there, right? But the one who really did it for real, right, Devin Haney, and Jamel Charlo, who should have been in there before he became undisputed, because he was unified for years in one of the deepest divisions in boxing, and we just keep not letting them in. Listen, like I've told you guys before, make your own damn list. Those lists that are out there, they might as well just go over to East America to where the Confederates are. There's absolutely no way in the world that Canelo should be on the list, and anywhere. Whatever list Canelo is, whatever position you have Canelo, Demetrius Andrade is a position in front of him. Right? Period. He's not better than that guy, or else he would have fought him by now. But before I keep ranting, I'm going to get on up out of here, y'all. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.